Ben, we've talked repeatedly about the difficulty of markets trying to price in geopolitical risk.
Yes.
Are they being forced to learn how to do it, given how much geopolitical risk seems to be floating around?
I mean, are you arguing that markets are doing a better job pricing in geopolitical risk?
We're asking.
Just confirming. I think there's certainly more geopolitical risk. I mean, it's been well flagged. You know, it's not just North Korea, trade tensions, I mean, European politics, you name it. We've had a lot this year. I think what's important to note is that all of that is pretty consistent with volatility moving higher in the late phase of a cycle. And so I guess what we see is cyclical volatility pushing up. We can look back to the late 90s where, in fact, it pushed up and stayed high for many years at a time before the bear market that was to follow. So I don't think this is giving us a lot of signal about the end being near, which I think people are inclined to think. We disagree.
You made an interesting point, though, in your notes that you think this is the worst as far as it gets regarding trade concerns.
Yeah.
That's a pretty bold call, given how measured the Chinese have been at this stage.
But I think that's part of it. I think we might have actually reached a high watermark in terms of trade tensions. Yeah. So why is that? We've had the two big topics are steel and China. Both of those headlines we're really worried about, and both of those headlines are now in the rearview mirror. The economic consequences of those are limited. In terms of steel, they basically carved out everyone who matters in terms of volume except Japan.
Exclusions flying
right, so everyone. So we've announced it. Then we're going to exclude literally everyone except Japan. And then China, as you mentioned, had a very measured response. And the final thing is to say that in the meantime, so all these are big headlines. They made a lot of noise. They're crowding out all the positive news on trade that we've had on NAFTA, that we've had on bilateral trade talks, and that I think are offsetting to some extent the bad news.
That's an interesting point.